So the purpose of this short video today is just to give you a little taster of what Yin Yoga is all about. So this will be about a 20-minute session, which isn't really very long when it comes to practicing Yin Yoga, because each pose is held for anything usually between 1 and 5 minutes. So it may be that in this 20-minute session, we perhaps get through 4 postures, something like that. So I'll take you through some very simple poses that bring you into forward bend, a back bend, and a twist, and we'll just see how we go time-wise. I'll introduce you to some of the props that you might be offered in a Yin Yoga session and how to use them in the postures that we're covering today. So let's begin. We'll come to a position called constructive rest, which is often used at the beginning of a session, but also between poses as a way of reconnecting and resting your body and just noticing how your body feels. So we're not looking to tax the body in any way in this pose. We're looking just to rest. So feet a little wider apart, maybe knees resting in on each other if that feels okay. You might want to place the palms of your hands on your belly and just soften your shoulders back and down. If that's not comfortable for your arms, feel free to rest them out to the sides with the palms up. And we'll just begin with a general awareness of our body resting down into the support of the floor. Beginning to trust the support of the earth beneath us. Feeling the firmness beneath your body. And as we begin to trust this support, we might notice a gentle softening of the muscles in the face, in the arms, and the back, and the belly, and the legs. As muscles begin to let go. And becoming aware of the gentle movement of breath. Feeling the breath moving inside your body. Gentle expansion of the body on the in-breath. And a softening and a dropping of the body on the out-breath. You might be quite happy to continue to breathe naturally in this way. But if there's any sense of restlessness, you might want to draw the breath in a little bit more actively now. Hold it for a second or two, and then softly let it go through your mouth. So we can use the breath in this way to help us let go, to help us find ease and stillness. Breathing in actively, hold the breath for a second or two, And then let it out slowly through your mouth. And just take one more. Good. And then just to break things up, hug the knees up towards your chest and just gently have a little rock. Might ease out your neck a little bit as well. And then when you're ready, roll onto one side and push up and find your way to kneeling position. Going to come into pose of the child. It's a very soft spinal flexion, so a little rounding of your back. If kneeling is a little bit tricky for you, know that you could put some sort of padding under your bottom. Sort of between your heels and your buttocks, or maybe a little closer towards your knees if that feels better. If you feel a little bit of strain in the front of the ankles, you can put padding at the front of the ankles. So you have those options. You may be fine without any props, in which case just folding forward, perhaps resting the forehead on the floor. Let your shoulders drop forward, let your arms, your body relax. An alternative might be to fold the arms and rest your forehead on the back of your folded arms. But for some, this is still not quite right. If you have some kind of bolster or a few cushions from your couch, you can bring your knees a little bit wider and fold forward onto your support. And just wriggle around until you feel that you can rest into stillness for about 3 minutes. So we're looking to feel something, but not too much. If you find you're feeling something like a stabbing pain in the joint or any kind of electrical, tingly kind of pins and needles sensation somewhere in the body, then perhaps come out of it and just ease off. And it may be that you've got to find alternative ways to position your body using some props to help you. But we are looking to feel something, a little tug on the tissues. Yin Yoga works into the deeper tissues of the body, the fascia, the connective tissue, particularly around your joints. Now, initially for me, this was a bit of a red flag. Ooh, why do we want to be stretching our joints? Surely our joints need to be super strong. And they do. But the kind of stretching we do in Yin Yoga just puts a very mild stress on the joints. And this actually stimulates the connective tissue to lay down more cells, which actually helps to strengthen the joints. So it took me a little while to get my head around that. We're working into the yin tissues. They take a bit longer, they need a bit more time to be stimulated, more than the muscles. So this is why we rest into the poses for longer. Now you've been here for almost 3 minutes already. So just take a couple more breaths. And then just gently come up, slowly coming up with awareness. So that's another thing to bear in mind. When you've been in a posture for 3 to 5 minutes, it's really important to come out of it slowly to allow your tissues to gently adapt. Okay, we'll move into a back bend now called Sphinx pose. So coming onto your front, stretch out your legs, stretch out your feet, and see if you can prop yourself up on your forearms. So a starting point for this might be elbows below shoulders. Spread the fingers and really feel support through the forearms and the palms. A little lift of the chest. So this might be fine for you. You might be okay to stay here just as you are for 3 minutes. But if you find your way here and you're thinking, actually, I'm feeling this in my lower back, you have a few options. You could bring a little bit of yang to your practice. So you might just gently draw your belly up a little away from the floor. And this will just reduce the curve in your lumbar spine slightly. But if you'd like to try something different, you could bring the elbows slightly further forward, which again will reduce the curve in your lower back. Last option I'm going to give you. You can bring a bolster, some kind of support, right up underneath your rib cage, nice and close. Just wedge it in there and allow it to do the supporting. And this might just enable you to relax some of those muscles in your back. So just play with those options and find one that feels right for you today. Let's just be here for another 2 minutes. Find your mind is all over the place. Just notice that. That's totally normal. If you can just bring your mind back into this present moment experience, back to the sensations that you're feeling in your body right now. Get curious about them. Go. Maybe firmness here, tightness here, a softening here. And sometimes just the simple act of becoming aware changes your experience. You might become aware of tension in the body that you weren't previously aware of. And just the simple act of taking your awareness to that area of tension is enough to allow it to soften. And know that at any point you can bring your attention back to the breath. This gently breathing body. Take a moment to ease out your neck. Another deep breath in, and then gently push up. Come back to constructive rest. And just see how your body feels. Feet wide, knees resting in on each other if that's comfortable. Maybe hands on the body somewhere, or by your sides, palms up. Check in with yourself. Check in with the feelings and the sensations in your body. And then, when you're ready, feet and knees hip width. Let's just draw the right knee up towards the chest and clasp the hands around the front of the knee. And just hug that knee gently in towards you, just aware of what's happening in the buttock and the hip. So you're not quite going to your fullest range of motion. Some of you might be able to hug that knee right in really, really strongly. About 50, 60% of what you're capable of doing is fine. This is our starting point. Let's just be here. If the sensations are too strong, you need to back off a bit. If you're not feeling anything, then perhaps hug the knee in a little closer or stretch out your left leg. That might help. So you might feel some sensation across your buttock or into the front of the hip, or maybe your knee. If it's too strong in the knee, hold on to the back of your thigh instead. And we won't take such a long hold here, maybe another minute. And as we hold, you might find that your body begins to soften and you might be able to deepen the stretch slightly. Equally, you might find that it's a little too strong and you need to soften a little, back away a little. So your edge is fluid. Just take one more breath here. And then just take the hand to the back of your thigh and just enjoy stretching out that leg for a bit. Maybe rotate your ankle. Just ease things out. And then bring your foot to the floor and draw your left knee up towards your chest. Hug it in. Settle in, see how this side compares to the other one. Find your edge. Endeavor to be still and relax. Those are the three principles of Yin Yoga. Find your edge. Endeavor to be still and relax. Maybe stretching out that right leg if you feel you need a bit more sensation. One more breath. And then hands to the back of your thigh. Just enjoy stretching up into the foot. Bringing your foot to the floor. Allow feet and knees to come together. And then shift your hips over to the left and allow your knees gently to drop to the right. Spread your arms out to the sides. Have a little wriggle through the upper body and try and ground the upper back. Soften the back of your left shoulder to the floor. If you need to, you can pop a block or a cushion underneath this bottom leg, or even between, or both. If needed. Let's just rest into this for 2 minutes. What are you feeling? And where are you feeling it? Can you let go? Can you stop fighting with yourself and just surrender and soften? See where your head and neck want to be placed. Does your head want to roll with the arm, the right arm, or does it want to roll round towards the left arm? Maybe it wants to be neutral. Just breathe and soften. And then 1 or 2 more breaths. Just easing those knees up. Shifting your hips to center for a moment. Back to constructive rest. You've done a gentle twist to one side. See how your body feels. And we'll move to the other side. So just shifting hips over to the other side. Knees drop to the left. Spread the arms, have a wriggle through the upper body. Your right shoulder will want to pop up. Just see if you can find a way to let it soften down. And if that means propping underneath your knees or between your knees, do that. Maybe roll your head lazily from side to side and find a comfortable resting place. We'll be here about 2 minutes. Finding your edge. Maybe experiencing that little bit of a tug on the tissues. Notice where you feel it in your body. It's not so strong that we can't relax. It's not so strong that we don't feel safe. So for each of you, that's the inquiry. That's what you've got to figure out. It's going to be different for each of you. So yin is definitely less about how a pose looks and all about how a pose is being experienced and felt in your body. For a final few breaths in this pose, maybe almost imagining that you're about to drift off into a sleep. So breathing in, breathing out, and really completely letting go. Surrendering completely. When you're ready, very slowly and mindfully let your in-breath bring your head back up, bring your knees back up, taking your time back to center. If you need to, you can hug the knees in briefly towards your chest. And then bringing your feet down onto the floor. We'll finish here, either in constructive rest, if you can, Shavasana. So stretching out your legs. Let the feet flop outwards, let the arms rest on the floor, palms up. For some of you, you might want a little bit of support to rest here in Shavasana. So maybe a folded blanket under your head and something under your knees. I have my bolster handy, so I'll use my bolster. But a rolled up blanket would be fine. And just positioning the blanket under your head. In this posture, we're looking to feel completely held and supported. No stress on the tissues at all. And just allow the body to soften. And you can be here for as long as you like. Enjoying the fruits of your practice.